Hello, Mount Rudmore here, aka Nick, and I'm back to talk about BB26. I meant to do this stream yesterday, but I was not feeling very well, so might be another jam-packed one because I still have yet to cover the Wednesday night episode. So, yeah, let's just get into it. First of all, with the Wednesday episode, the veto episode, there was a montage, and I'm glad they had this montage of Kenney wanting to quit. And they did it as like a thumbs up, thumbs down segment, like with how he was going back and forth. And at one point they had a on the screen just because in the same conversation he basically said both. And I'm glad they did this because hopefully the casuals remember this when it comes time to vote for America's favorite, that he wanted to quit and they won't vote for him. The veto competition is called Recharge My Core. Basically, they have to move this giant core, for lack of a better word, through a series of vines, and it can't touch the vines or it loses power. And whoever gets through the maze with the most power in the core wins. Cedric goes first, and he ends up with 40% left in the core. And Mackenzie gets 65%. Leah, it cuts away when she's down to 35%. Cuts away from Angela when she's down to 15%. Angela was really bad at this challenge. It shows Tucker and Kenney side by side, but it doesn't go into too much detail. But it seems like both of them are actually doing okay in this challenge. The challenge is over. Chelsea reveals the top 3 times. It was Kenney, Tucker, and Mackenzie. Mackenzie came in third place with 65%. And the winner of the challenge with 85% was Tucker. But we knew that already. We didn't know how much his percentage was, but we knew he won. And Tucker has a diary room segment where he says that he just can't sit still. He's been saying for a while up to this point, things are moving too slow for his liking. Things are getting kind of boring. So he wanted to spice things up, and that's where he thought of his brilliant plan to use the veto not on himself, but on Angela, and force Cedric to nominate Quinn, and getting rid of his power before he can ever use it. Cedric does not do this, obviously. He nominates Mackenzie and instead flushes her power. So the episode ends there. As far as stuff from the feeds since my last update, my last video, Brooklyn and Leah talk. Leah suggests they lock in a group of Chelsea, well, them, Chelsea, Quinn, and Cam. And if you're paying attention, this is literally just the Pentagon, but swapping Cedric for Leah. Not exactly an upgrade. Leah thinks that Quinn won't go up because America wants to see the power used. And Brooklyn swears that she's not voting out whoever America picks. Quinn says he's not either, but he admits that he's nervous about going up. He thinks he's going to get picked. Chelsea does a cam talk, as in talking to the camera, i.e., us. She thinks Quinn is going up because America is messy and petty. This fandom certainly can be when they want to be. Says if not him, then someone who's done nothing, like Joseph or Leah or Rabina. Now, Joseph and Leah were definitely names I was seeing thrown around, and I personally voted for Leah because she's Mackenzie's closest ally. Said it before, I'll say it again. That was the funniest outcome for me. Leah going up and seeing the look on Mackenzie's face. Tucker and Rabina at this point are just continuing to get closer and closer. And at this point, people are starting to take notice of it. So, yeah, Tucker's made his bed at this point, but now Rabina's getting attached to that bed. Chelsea and Brooklyn talk about how Mackenzie and Leo no longer seem to be a unit, which is true. Chelsea wonders if they're pretending to not be a duo to try and separate themselves, but Brooklyn doubts it. Brooklyn thinks they are just genuinely separating from each other, and that is the case. They didn't really fully see eye to eye that first week. It was really after Matt left that they got a little more bonded, but it seems that that bond is wearing off. Hello to my first viewer, whoever you may be. Just noticed. The collective talks. They all want Tucker out, and if he wins the AI arena, then Kenney can go. And I'm just thinking, Tucker, you need to win this one. For the sake of my draft team. I picked you first in my draft, and I do not want you to be the third one out. Especially when Kenney has been quiet quitting since week one. Tucker and Rabina cuddle and hold each other, and they almost kiss on the lips, but they settle for some neck kisses instead. And they just kind of get right in each other's faces. Like, they look like they're about to kiss, but they're just kind of nose to nose. There's definitely some Eskimo kissing going on, rubbing noses. And it did not go unnoticed that they were doing this on Chemo's bed, and Chemo has a crush on Tucker. I don't believe they did this on purpose, but when Chemo gets out of the house and watches the season back, if he sees that part, then that's probably going to hurt a little bit. Just seeing those two being as close as they are is probably going to hurt him anyway, but yeah. We need to do a wellness check on Chemo when this is all over. And because a lot of people are noticing, T-Core and Chemo, they really don't like them together. And that's why they, at this point, are willing to vote Tucker out. Even Chemo with his crush, he's willing to let Tucker go because on top of every other Big Brother threat level that Tucker has, he's also got a showmance going on at this point. So Chemo sees the value in taking him out. Joseph and Leah talk. Neither of them trust Rabina. Joseph says Tucker is the target. And while they're talking, Ham sees them together. And he goes on to say that he just sort of assumes that Leah likes him because she's a chubby chaser. Because according to Cam, Mr. Perfect BMI rating, he he thinks Joseph is fat. If Joseph's chubby, then I'm freaking Snorlax, okay? There is no way Joseph counts as chubby, all right? So, as a fat person, Cam, I'm a little offended that that's what you think qualifies as fat. Mackenzie talks to Chelsea. Mackenzie says, I've really been sort of drifting away from Leah. And I am seeing Mackenzie starting to at least try to pivot in this game. Whereas Leah is doing nothing. She's just talking smack about people to whoever will listen. Also, Mackenzie is campaigning for Kenney to leave. Leah later joins this conversation. And she says that she's on board with Tucker leaving, and Mackenzie sort of reluctantly agrees. So then we get to the eviction episode, and we finally see that post-veto house meeting. I thought that the the house meeting was just the continuation of the veto meeting, and I think a lot of people thought that as well. But no, the veto meeting broke, everyone left, and then they all sort of came back for the house meeting, and that's when the feeds came on. So I think that's why people assumed that it was just the veto meeting still. But we get the house meeting footage. Quinn says in front of everybody when Tucker blabs about his power in front of everybody. Quinn says, I didn't want to use my power. Angela doesn't buy it. And then with the fear of the America's vote, everyone's sort of on their best behavior for the cameras. We get two arguments between Cedric and Tucker. And for one of them, T-Core is just like, I want to go to sleep. Like, she doesn't want to keep hearing it. To be fair, Tucker really only needed to argue once, because the second time he really just kind of said the same stuff again. Chelsea has a diary room talking about how she wants to take Tucker out because he's basically just doing too much. Then it comes time to reveal who America nominated. And BB Twitter got their way, and Quinn was nominated. And then Quinn, Tucker, and Kenney go right into the AI arena. And they're in a wind tunnel with a bunch of balls. And they have to catch all the red balls and put them in a tube. And, well, they have to catch 20 red balls and put them in a tube. And whoever does it first is the winner. It's called Data Dump. And once again, Tucker wins the AI arena pretty handily. Like, his strategy was to grab multiple at a time. Like his first one, he grabbed 5 at a time and then just dumped them all in at once. And that was a smart move, I think. So yeah, Tucker gets to 20. I think Quinn might have had 10. I think Kenney had less than that. So it wasn't close. I'll tell you that much. There's a very short forced hug between Tucker and Quinn as they're heading back into the house. And Quinn definitely looked a little worried in this moment. So they get into the house. Julie tells them Tucker won the AI arena. They cheer again, but, you know, it's not at the same level as what he got last week and what Chemo got week one. So then it comes down to Kenney and Quinn. Kenney, to my surprise, did not outright say in his eviction speech, I want to go home. Please vote me out, which I thought he might, but he didn't. Quinn comes up. Quinn gets up and says that he's just gunning for Tucker, and he makes a lot of really forced shoutouts, and I'm just like, okay, now I'm kind of glad you got nominated. Uh, and then everyone votes. Tucker goes first, and I think at this point we can safely say the winner of the AI arena just goes first because it was Tucker the last 2 weeks, and the first week it was Chemo. So that's how it works, I guess. And Tucker votes to evict Quinn, and everyone else votes to evict Kenney. So 10-1. Kenney's evicted. Everyone's happy, including and especially Kenney. And like, just this was the right outcome. Like, say what you want about everybody else left in the house. At least none of them want to quit. Like, they're all here to play. So you can certainly at least respect all of them more than you can respect Kenney. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I barely listened to Kenney's exit interview with Julie. I just did not care. Like, he didn't want to be there. Why should I care about this? I was just kind of looking at my phone while he was talking to Julie. Feeds come back not long after the episode ends. Tucker sensed that the others weren't as excited for his win this week. And he thinks Cam in particular was the worst actor. And he doesn't really feel good about Cam anymore. And this is definitely something that's a little surprising because I took one look at Cam preseason and was like, this looks like the kind of guy who goes far in the modern BB era. But the members of the Pentagon don't really respect him. Chelsea, in particular, is really sick of him. Like, Cedric is cool with him, but I don't think Cedric would be too heartbroken if he were to leave. And outside the Pentagon, Cam doesn't really have too many people. So I definitely don't think Cam is in as good a spot as he thinks he is. Tucker tells Rabina he's coming for Quinn because he said he's coming for me, which is fair, I guess. He forms an alliance with Rabina, T-Core, Brooklyn, and Chemo called the 5 Points. And this may or may not be 5 points with a Z. I'm not really 100% sure on that. Now, I figured Chemo, T-Core, Brooklyn, no way they're going to honor this alliance. They're going to rat this out really quick. Brooklyn tells Chelsea about it. And to my surprise, I thought Tucker and Rabina might be loyal to it, but Tucker tells Angela about it. So, yeah, 5 points is a little five pointless, I think. This one ain't gonna do much. But what's interesting is that T-Core and Chemo don't tell Quinn about this alliance. So they don't fully trust him yet. They're still, I think they're in the rebuilding stage, but it's not it's not there yet. They well, T-Core in particular thinks that Quinn shouldn't have been lying. And Quinn was lying about a lot of other things. Like, he was honest with Chemo about his power, but he kept a lot of other stuff from him. So Chemo is justifiably not overly thrilled with him right now either. That being said, they don't want Quinn out yet. They want to use 5 points plus Quinn and Chelsea to advance their games. And they want to take Tucker out when the time is right. And to me, I think the right time is to backdoor Tucker after this AI arena twist is done. Which I personally think it's only going to be the first 4 weeks, like the powers. I can't imagine it going longer than that. Joseph asks Quinn who he's going to put up because Joseph is like, this is a foregone conclusion. Quinn says he'll put up Angela, Tucker, and Rabina. And sure enough, a lot of people were mad, like, boring. But think about it. These are very logical moves for Quinn's game, okay? The way I look at Big Brother is I judge a person's game move, not on whether or not I like it, but on whether or not it makes sense for them. And Angela, Tucker, Rabina, that's a move that makes sense for Quinn. Joseph says that he's going to gun for the HOH, but if he can throw it to someone in the collective, then he will. And I'm thinking of that trio, if they are the nominees, Angela, Tucker, Rabina. I'm I'm kind of a Tubina shipper. I kind of want to see this relationship play out a little longer. So I'm like, if these are the three that go up, sorry, Angela, but you might have to go. And then Angela won HOH. Personally, I am glad that the HOH was won by a former HOH because if it was won by someone who hadn't won an HOH yet, then they would have just had their power stolen from them. Like, they would have only gotten a taste of power without actually getting to act on it. Angela had a week of power, so, you know. But still, here we go again. The equitable comps allowing Angela to win. From what I've gathered, it was the knockout HOH where two people do a task. And the winner of that task, well, the loser of that task is eliminated. The winner of that task picks the next two. And Angela went on to win it. Tucker, I'm thinking he's going to be hard to take out. I'm thinking you got to at least backdoor him to just give him one chance at saving himself instead of two. But even that one chance, he's already won it twice. What's to stop him from winning a third time? So at this point, I'm starting to think Rabina might be in a little bit of trouble this week. Like she had a really good first 3 weeks, but, you know, in this game, sometimes it just comes crumbling down really fast, like with Izzy last year. Every time I have to bring up last season, I die a little inside. Mackenzie at this point feels like the whole house is against her. And I'm just thinking she did not plan for her post power game at all. Like she had this power and she coasted on it, and now she doesn't have it and she doesn't know what to do. Like she is playing the game that everyone, I guess, except Quinn, because yeah, also Quinn, because Quinn didn't really weaponize his power. He only told a couple people. Mackenzie was telling everybody to keep herself safe, and now she can't do that anymore. So it's like she's having to play the game in a whole new way, and it's just the way everyone else started playing the game from the beginning without the power. But Tikor is like trying to support her, and she's like, I'll support you for when you talk to Angela. Tucker tells Rabina that he knows he's going up, says he'll tell Angela just to nominate him so she can get closer to Quinn. Sure loves volunteering, doesn't he? And also, bear in mind that part of him thinking Angela is going to make nominations because it comes up more later. Mackenzie tells Tucker, I'm screwed. And he's like, well, I'll see you up there. Mackenzie suggests he might be backdoored, which is what I'm saying if you want to take him out. Also says that Angela is under the impression Quinn won't use his power. I'm like, surely this can't be true. Like, you're just saying stuff right now. He's Tucker. He loves to just say stuff. Quinn tells the collective minus, the Pentagon minus Cam, that he's going to put up Tucker, Rabina, and Mackenzie. And here we go again. Cedric offers himself as a pawn instead of Rabina. But Quinn is a little hesitant about this because he's like, you just protected me. You kind of put your neck on the line for me when you were HOH. So Quinn's like, it wouldn't really feel right to put you up. Angela tells Tucker, this is ours. She really does think Quinn won't use his power. At least until Tucker says to put up Quinn and flush the power. He suggests Cedric too because he nominated her. They agree that Brooklyn is running the show, but they think she's too protected to take a shot at her. Angela does admit there's no way Quinn won't use it, so that "this is ours" comment meant nothing. Angela and Brooklyn talk. Again, this is where it was kind of confirmed that it was the knockout comp. Because Brooklyn says it felt personal that Angela picked her twice. Angela says it wasn't personal, but also tells Brooklyn she saw her take Quinn to the bathroom, probably to tell him to use his power. And I'm like, go ahead, keep making enemies, Angela. Just the way Angela talks to people is, it's not a winning game. So I'm just all the people who are obsessed with Angela and Angela stands and whatnot, like brace yourselves, okay? She is not going to win this game. In fact, she's not going to be here much longer. I'll be amazed if she makes it to jury. Truly amazed. I mean, if okay, if they go back to a 9-person jury, maybe. But she won't go too far into jury. So this conversation ends. Angela rolls her eyes about it, and Brooklyn is still annoyed at Angela. So this there was really no progress made between their relationship. They just don't really like each other. Brooklyn tells Rabina that Angela doesn't realize that Quinn has to use his power before nominations. And I'm like, that's what I thought. Like, that's what I heard Quinn say. At least that's what I thought I heard Quinn say. So it's like, what are we doing? Why is Angela like this? Quinn tells Tikor he's going to talk to Angela before he uses his power. I'm like, that seems kind of pointless. He also says Cedric would be a renom if necessary. Tikor and Chemo try to push Leah as a nomination to Quinn, but they don't go into detail about how against him she is at this point. And the conversation sort of fizzles out before they can really push too hard. They ask him about the Pentagon. He says that he thought Cam was the best player in the game, but now he thinks it's Chelsea, which he might be right. She's definitely well protected, and no one's really gunning for her. Even Angela and Tucker are like Brooklyn's running the game. And because that spotlight's kind of on Brooklyn now, that really kind of bumps Chelsea in the first place, I think. Joseph tells Tikor and Chemo that he wants to work with them, and they call themselves the Guppies. And I'm like, is this just because you're running out of alliance names? Like, you just want to think of something that hasn't been said yet? Quinn talks to Angela to get more information about what she would do if she were HOH, but he kind of gives up more information than he gets. Like, she asks who you wouldn't put up, and he's like, I wouldn't put Cedric up. Or was it? No, I think it was Chemo. Yeah, Chemo. And I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. It just wasn't a smart move, Quinn. Quinn and Tucker have another argument with each other, and at first it's kind of unclear, but Quinn is visibly upset about it. I think I go into more detail about it later on. Angela will still get to compete in the veto as HOH, but Quinn's just going to need to get his chip pulled. Quinn is going to make the renom, vote, and compete in the next HOH. So this HOH power was super OP. Like, if he had kept this a secret, then it would have been a real game changer. But instead, now it's going to be like what happened to Tiffany in BB23. Everyone knew she was. Well, no, sorry. She won HOH. She got overthrown. overthrown, and then she won the next HOH, and that just kind of led to her being the first one evicted from the cookout because they didn't think she should have won twice in a row. And if Quinn wins twice in a row, like if he wins the next HOH, then they're going to be looking at him a little funny. In fact, they might be looking at him funny anyway, depending on who wins. Quinn does one-on-ones with people in the have-not room, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of corny. He's sitting like at the table and having everyone come in. Like, okay, calm down, dude. He tells Cedric the plan is to ask who would use the veto on Tucker, expecting Rabina to be the answer. So, like, that would be his justification for putting up Rabina. And also thinks that Mackenzie is worth putting up because she's more of a competitor. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Cedric says that he's still willing to be a pawn for Quinn. Mm-hmm. Because we're not all sick of that at this point. Angela tells Chemo that her only ally is Tucker. I'm thinking this is probably a mistake telling that to Chemo. He's gonna tell several people. And also, it's like you're just putting more heat on Tucker. Like, oh, you're the HOH officially, so we can't get you, but we can still make possibly your closest ally leave on your HOH. So Quinn talks to Cam in the Have Not room, tells him that Cedric volunteered. Cam doesn't love it and offers himself as a nomination. It truly is contagious. And this isn't even the first time that Cam's volunteered. Quinn later tells the camera. It's another reason Cam has to go soon. I'm tired of saying, instead of, I can't just say Cam talk because there's a guy named Cam. But Quinn tells us that, again, he no longer thinks Cam's the best player. Says that Chelsea, Brooklyn, Cedric, and himself are the best. Well, 3 out of 4 is not bad. If he kept that power a secret, he would be one of the best. But he didn't, so I think he needs to chill out a little bit. Probably a mistake to get HOH itis when you're the invisible HOH. I know he's not invisible, but like Angela technically has the title. Then Quinn talks to Leah, and just a heads up, this conversation's very cringe. She tells him he knows their final two is real. She tells him she knows their final two is real, which is a lie. Quinn says his only other final two was Angela. That is a lie. Leah wonders why he doesn't want to backdoor Tucker. Sorry, I write him as Tuck. She's wondering why he doesn't want to backdoor Tucker, and honestly, truth there. He asks who else he should nominate, and she says Mackenzie. Then he tries his who would save Tucker if they won the veto line on her. She doesn't get it. Like, she's like, wait, who would save him? And he's like, no, I'm asking who would save him. And she's like, yeah, no one would save him. And that's, first of all, not true. And it's very painful. Leah's head is not in this game. He does finally manage to explain it, but it's like, it's just, this conversation does not go well. And I think Quinn is starting to realize that he and Leah are not super close anymore. Vina tells Tucker she knows about Mackenzie wanting an alliance with him, but not her. And this conversation goes exactly as you would expect a Tucker Rabina conversation to go. Tucker dodges a question, and they start flirting more because they are both very unserious people. Quinn talks to Rabina, asks again who would use the veto on Tucker. This again gets kind of awkward, but she says she would respect the HOH if they didn't want it used. After this conversation, Quinn ranks his final twos. His final two with Angela is at the bottom, then Rabina, then Leah, then Chemo, then Joseph, and then at the top, Brooklyn. Now, it's interesting to note he forgot Cedric in this list, but he had previously indicated that he trusts Cedric, so Cedric would probably be higher up on this list than some of the others. So I think I don't really think there's too much to this one other than he just forgot because he does have too many final twos. Like, if you were going to make multiple final twos, you got to have one real one, and you got to tell that person, okay, so I'm making final twos with X, Y, and Z, but they're not real. Like, if you can do that, then it's like, you know, you can let your final two person take shots at them. So, yeah. Quinn talks to Chelsea. She's not worried about Cedric volunteering. Quinn says that he would put him up instead of Rabina, and he starts to mention the rift between Leah and Mackenzie. Sorry, he does mention the rift between Leah and Mackenzie. And then after the conversation, he is called to the he's called to the diary room, makes his nominees in there, and becomes official later on. Quinn tells Mackenzie that he nominated her afterwards, but he says he won't vote her out. Which doesn't mean she won't be voted out, but Quinn says he won't vote her out. Quinn tells Joseph that he nominated Tucker, Mackenzie, and Cedric, and Rabina would be the replacement nominee. Tucker doesn't believe that Quinn makes the renom. And this is actually what I was talking about before when Quinn got upset. Uh, I really should have just deleted that other thing from my notes because I got back to it later on with more quality and clarity. So just pretend I didn't say it before. But Tucker doesn't believe that Quinn makes the renom, and this comes to a head mostly off camera, except for Tucker accusing Quinn about making the renom. And Quinn is upset at the accusation of being essentially a cheater because lying about a twist is using production as a strategy, which is not allowed. So Quinn takes it kind of personally that he's being accused of basically cheating. Quinn tells Cedric he followed through on nominating him, and Cedric later asks if he should not use the veto on himself if he were to win, so that he could face Tucker in the AI arena. How are we here? How do we have so many people that don't want to use the veto on themselves? This is what the AI arena has done. It has made people way too willing to lay their games on the line to take someone else out. Like, no, play your own game. You put up the target and cannon fodder. And hope the cannon fodder gets lucky. Listen, if they do more AI arena comps like the first one they did, that one could have been won by any of them. Hemo just happened to win. There's no guarantee Tucker would have beat him in that. Maybe this next one Tucker won't win, but maybe you won't win, Cedric. Maybe you shouldn't risk your own game because you have a resume already, and people might see you like, oh, if we can't get Tucker, we might as well get out someone else who's done some stuff in this game. So, yeah, I just think Cedric is being kind of foolish here. And I think Tucker was foolish to do it too, but, he does keep winning. So, all I'm saying is Cedric has won one competition. At this point in time, Tucker has won three. But we will get to the next veto competition, and we'll see if Tucker can bring it to four. Tucker complains about Rubina to Chemo, and I am wondering if this is like, again, gonna die a little more inside because I'm gonna talk about last year, but I'm wondering if this is like Corey and America smack talking each other to get some heat off of themselves, to not make them look like a duo or a showmance. So, yeah, I'm wondering if that's what Tucker's strategy is here. I said America and Corey, and then I accidentally said Quinn just because he's a fanboy of theirs. The Visionaries, Quinn, Chemo, and T-Core, they talk. Quinn says he wants to stick with the collective, and I just realized I had a typo here. Quinn wants to stick with the collective until jury, then bring in Joseph and use him to help them battle against the Pentagon. First smart plan he's had in a while, if I'm being totally honest, but honestly, with how his game's been going, I'm not sure he can really make this happen because I do think T-Core, Chemo, and Joseph are the three people in the house who trust him the most, but how far are they willing to go with him? So the nominations are finally official. Like I said, Tucker, Cedric, Mackenzie. Cedric is now starting to worry because he could possibly be sitting next to Rubina on Thursday night. And that would make it a really close vote. It could be a 5-5 tie, which would be broken by Angela. And, Angela's really close with Tucker, so would she do Tucker a solid and keep Rubina around for him? Or would she want Tucker all to herself and vote out Rubina in that case? So, yeah, maybe next time, Cedric, don't volunteer. Just saying. Like, think about these kinds of things before you volunteer. Or also, you could just not volunteer ever. Quinn and Tucker talk. This conversation is civil. They admit they're playing up the feud. Tucker admits again that he's mad at Rubina. He says that she doesn't like his sense of showmanship. But Rubina tells T-Core that she's frustrated with Tucker doing stuff that endangers his game. But don't worry, Tucker and Rubina eventually hug it out. And Tucker says he'd pick Quinn for the veto if possible, and would take a prize in the competition if it's the Yankee swap competition. I'll tell you, Tucker, he's just constantly choosing violence. He doesn't wake up and do it. He does it every second of every day. He's like, I pick Quinn because it's what the people want. Chelsea tells T-Core that she wants Mackenzie out soon because she doesn't like Mackenzie attaching herself to Chelsea's hip. But honestly, Chelsea could like fully bring Mackenzie in, have another number on her side, and be in an even better position than she already is. That being said, of the people nominated and on the bubble of being nominated, I do want Mackenzie out the most. She just doesn't really do much for me in this game. Like, I like her more than Leah at this point, but just I definitely am annoyed with how badly Mackenzie has pivoted since her power expired. I mean, she hasn't pivoted. That's the problem. T-Core and Quinn talk. T-Core admits she doesn't feel great about the collective. And T-Core asks if there's any way he could work with Quinn could work with Tucker. And Quinn is like, I really don't think that can happen. T-Core admits he's right to not trust him. And also warns him about Leah, but again, doesn't fully bury her to Quinn like she should. Like, she knows just how against Quinn Leah is at this point, and she's not really taking much initiative to try and get Leah on the block, which she wants to do. She's talked about it with Chemo. But I like T-Core as a person, but as a player, I definitely feel she's a little too passive. It's like, get in the game a little more. You can actually make some moves happen if you really work at it. So we get to Saturday. We get to the veto draw. Angela's playing, as are the nominees, Tucker, Mackenzie, Cedric. And the two names drawn are Brooklyn and Joseph, who were also the two names drawn in the first 2 weeks. Something's going on here. Like, we are in week 4, and there's still week 4, 3 people nominated each week, and there are still 4 people that have yet to play in a veto competition. Quinn has not played in one. T-Core has not played in one. Cam has not played in one. Rabina has not played in one. And also Matt did not get to play in one. So if you want to get technical, there's 5 people on this cast that didn't play in a veto, and one never will. So, yeah, how do Brooklyn and Joseph keep getting picked? Specifically those two. Like, if I were them, I'd be like, I keep getting picked alongside this person, so maybe I should talk to them more. Maybe it's a sign. Nah, that'd probably be a bad idea now that I think about it. Everyone would be like, now they're actually becoming a thing because their names keep getting drawn together. So yeah, I was just sort of thinking out loud on that one. Didn't really think it through. Tucker tells Rabina and Brooklyn he will use the veto on himself this time if he wins. Thank you. Brooklyn tells T-Core and Chemo she's going to tell Tucker that if she wins the veto, she'll have to talk to Quinn before deciding whether or not to use it. And she says that she won't if Rabina will be the renom. So I guess Brooklyn doesn't really want to break up Tucker and Rabina either. Or she just is really tight with Rabina. Hard to tell. Angela talks to T-Core and Chemo, says that she loves them because they're calming presences in such a chaotic house. Angela, the call is coming from inside the house. You are the one of the main reasons. You and Tucker are the main reasons this season has been so chaotic. So, you know, you're kind of liking their calm energy because you need a distraction from what you've been cultivating. Fees go down for the veto competition, comes back, and I don't mean to shock you, but Tucker won the veto. That is 4 competition wins in the first 4 weeks. I told you. Backdoor him. Only give him the AI arena. See if he can go 3 for 3. But don't give him 2 chances to save himself. Chelsea talks to the camera. She and Brooklyn are going to tell Chemo to convince Tucker that Rabina will be the renom in an attempt to get Tucker to just not use the veto. That is bold, Chelsea. And good luck with that. Because you got to remember, T-Core is not super comfortable with the collective. Chemo is her closest ally, so if T-Core's not comfortable, Chemo's probably not comfortable. So I don't know if this would really work. I doubt it. Tucker and Quinn talk civilly again. Tucker tells Quinn that he appreciates him being a good sport about their rivalry. And Quinn admits that Tucker makes it fun. And I'm just thinking, if only Big Brother Twitter was able to take it in stride like this. There's so much tribalism on BB Twitter. It's like when someone has their favorite, no one else matters. Nothing anyone else does matters. Nothing their favorite does matters. Just their favorite is always right, and anyone who's against them is automatically wrong. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy for you to do it, and it's not healthy for people to read it. Part of why I wasn't feeling well yesterday is because I was starting to get a bit of an anxiety attack after spending too much time reading. Because it's getting hard to read updates, okay? It's just everyone criticizing people for not liking people in the house for doing something that's not in the best interest of Angela or Tucker. And it's like, that's all you're reading, and it just gets a little frustrating after a while. 1 second, please. Oh, sorry. 1 moment, please. Sorry. Chelsea, Rabina, and T-Core talk. T-Core wonders if they can convince Quinn to put Leah up. And again, T-Core does not seem to realize that she has enough dirt to absolutely bury Leah in Quinn's eyes. Because T-Core knows just how much smack Leah's been talking about Quinn. Because Leah is, let's face it, at this point, she's sort of a hater. She talks a lot of smack about a lot of people. T-Core knows this, but for some reason doesn't want to say it. Chelsea says she wants Leah and Mackenzie to be the next two out, which means that Mackenzie might be in some trouble this week if she doesn't win the AI arena. Like, if Tucker does win, I think, they're in too good with Cedric. I think between, Cedric and Rabina, a little bit of concern. But if it's Cedric versus Mackenzie, then I think Cedric's in pretty good shape. I think even Leah might vote Mackenzie out at that point. All right. Time to see what I've missed since I've been talking. All right. Nothing on my main timeline. At least nothing I haven't seen. Hold on. Sorry. Sneezed. Didn't want to do it on camera. All right. Time to check BB updates. They've been updating a bit today, so feeling good about this one. So checking this one. All right, T-Core says, I think Mackenzie in that scenario would be the one that would have to go. I think Mackenzie has no good relationships with the collective, but Rabina at least has some. Joseph says, I like Rabina. He keeps calling her RB, which she doesn't like. and I don't like that he keeps doing it. I mean, maybe he doesn't know, but I know Rabina doesn't like being called RB. Anyway, Joseph says, I like Rabina, but we know for a fact Mackenzie would put up Angela and Cedric. T-Core says, Rabina's targets are Mackenzie and Leah. She is not targeting any of the collective. Mackenzie is. T-Core says, I know that Rabina wouldn't nominate me, you, or Chemo. Joseph says, that's true, but I don't think Mackenzie would either. T-Core, at least with Rabina, I know exactly what she thinks because she tells me. Joseph, that's true. You are making some good points. The thing is, you can't push too hard with the collective. If you do, they're going to be like, she just wants to keep her because she is her friend. Hmm, I guess he has a point there, but I think if she's just pushing Mackenzie to leave over Rabina staying, then I think that might be the better move. T-Core, I think the best case scenario is Cedric pulls out the win, and then it's Mackenzie and Rabina sitting on the block. Joseph says, and if he doesn't, the other one has to go. Joseph says, I think he's going to put up Rabina. Oh, he's talking to Cedric now. I think he's going to put up Rabina. I think there is merits to both. Mackenzie would probably put you and Angela up. Maybe we keep Rabina because she is the weaker of the two. Cedric says, that's what I would do. Joseph says to Quinn, Rabina goes up, send Mackenzie out. I guess run it by everyone else. I'm okay with that personally because, like I said, I like Rabina a lot more than Mackenzie. Just Mackenzie has done nothing for me this whole game. I didn't like the way she was weaponizing her power, and I really don't like the way that she didn't plan for after she didn't have the power anymore. T-Core's talking to Joseph. I would be careful because I think Tucker thinks that you, Cam, Joseph, and Leah are in an alliance. Joseph says, with Quinn? T-Core says, yeah, did you already hear about it? Joseph says, yeah. T-Core says, who told you? Joseph says, Tucker. T-Core, oh, he told you directly. T-Core says, that's good he told you to your face. Joseph says, yeah, I think he still trusts me. I do like him, and I wanted ... dot dot dot. I guess T-Core cut him off. And T-Core says, but he blew up. And Joseph says, and I can't clean up the mess that he made. All right. So the target seems to be settling on Mackenzie, but Rabina might be the backup in case Mackenzie wins the arena. So let's just hope Rabina or Cedric pulls out the AI arena because I want Mackenzie to go this week. I mean, I want Leah to go more, but Quinn doesn't seem like he wants to put her up, which I think he should. Like, if you put Leah on the block in Tucker's place, then you have Leah and Mackenzie on the block. They can't both win the AI arena, so if one of them wins it, send the other one home. And if Cedric wins it, then, you know, just just be like, I leave it with the house. Whatever you guys want, I won't stop you. You all just vote for whoever you want. I think he'd probably still push Mackenzie over Leah, but, you know, I feel like Leah probably needs to be humbled a little bit. All right, that's all I got. Thank you to my one viewer for watching. I appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at NickRhymesYT. I have links to my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel there. You can catch up on all my previous streams. And you can get my thoughts on Big Brother stuff as it happens on my Twitter page. And yeah, that will do it. I will see you next time. Peace out.